Hello and welcome. Have you ever looked at your savings account and just thought, is that it? My money should be doing, well, more. If that sounds familiar, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to walk through the journey from being a really good saver to becoming a truly confident investor. So, we're pulling all of this from a fantastic guide called Introduction to Investing from Curious to Confident. And what's so great about it is how it uses a simple story to make the whole world of investing feel, totally approachable for anyone. So, let's dive right into those key lessons.
All right, let's start with a one question that really gets the ball rolling. You work hard for your money, right? But is your money working just as hard for you? This is the exact thought that kicks off the journey for the hero of our story. And honestly, it's a question we should all be asking ourselves.
So, let me introduce you to Seyi. Seyi was fantastic at saving. She was disciplined, she put money away, but she noticed this really frustrating problem. The numbers in her account just weren't going up. At the same time, the cost of everything around her was. Her savings were just sitting there, basically losing their power. Sound familiar? So Seyi talks to her friend Tunde, who points out this absolutely crucial difference. Saving, that's about safety. It's about keeping your money secure, ready for you when you need it. But investing, that's a whole different game. That's about growth. It's about putting your money to work so it can make more money all by itself. And this, right here, is where the magic really happens. Tunde introduces Seyi to what is, no joke, the single most powerful concept in finance. It's the one thing that can turn small, steady efforts into serious wealth over time: compounding. So what exactly is it? Well, the idea is actually beautiful in its simplicity. It's when you earn interest on your interest. Imagine a snowball rolling downhill. It starts small, but as it rolls, it picks up more snow, getting bigger and bigger, faster and faster. That's your money with compound interest. The metaphor Tunde uses in the story is just perfect. Investing isn't like planting one tree and that's it. It's like that first tree produces seeds that grow into more trees, which then drop seeds that grow into even more trees. It's an exponential idea, and it's exactly why starting early is such a huge advantage. Let's put some real numbers to this, because this is where it really clicks. Let's say you invest 10,000 naira and get a 10% return. After year one, you've got 11,000. Simple enough? But here's the key. In year two, you earn that 10% on the new total, on the 11,000. That's how the growth starts to speed up. And it's why the most important ingredient here is just time. The longer you let it cook, the more powerful it gets. Okay, so at this point, Seyi is totally sold on the idea. But now comes the next question. Where in the world do you actually put your money? So let's explore what we'll call the investment playground. It can look a little intimidating at first, but let's break down the main rides. The two big players you'll always hear about are stocks and bonds. Think of stocks as owning a tiny, tiny piece of a company. If that company does amazing, the value of your piece can go way up. That's the high growth part. But if it struggles, your piece can lose value, and that's the risk. Now, bonds are different. That's more like you're the lender. You're loaning money to a company or a government, and they promise to pay you back with interest. It's generally a lot safer, but that safety usually comes with slower growth. It's that classic trade-off, risk versus reward. But what if you're thinking, whoa, I don't want the pressure of picking individual winners and losers? I get it. And that's where mutual funds and ETFs are just brilliant. Think of them as pre-made baskets that hold tons of different investments inside: stocks, bonds, you name it. When you buy just one share of the fund, you instantly own a tiny piece of everything in the basket. It is by far the easiest way to spread out your risk from day one. And that brings us to the absolute golden rule of this whole playground. If you remember one thing, let it be this: don't put all your eggs in one basket. We have a fancy word for it: diversification. By spreading your money out across different things, you're building a safety net. So if one investment has a bad day, the others can help pick up the slack. So Seyi had the knowledge. She understood compounding, she knew about stocks and bonds, and she got why diversification was so important. But, theory can only get you so far. All that knowledge is just potential until you actually put it into practice. It was time for Seyi to take the leap. And this is a moment I think so many of us can relate to, right? That very first time you're about to put your own hard-earned money into the market. It is nerve-wracking. The source material just captures that feeling perfectly. Knowing what to do is one thing, but actually hitting that button, that's a whole other story. But this is where her new knowledge became her superpower.
Instead of letting that fear take over, she just leaned on the principles she had learned. She reminded herself of the rules. Start with an amount you're comfortable with, spread it out, and remember that this is a marathon, not a sprint.
And there it is. One single click. It's such a small action, but it represented a giant leap forward. In that instant, she went from being a passive warrior to an active participant in her own financial life. And you see, this is about so much more than just money. It's fundamental change in mindset. It's a shift in identity. She wasn't just hiding money away for safety anymore. She was putting it to work for her future. She was taking control. So, what can we pull from Seyi's story? What are the big lessons we can take away from her journey and apply to our own? Her experience really boils down to a clear strategy and a specific mindset that literally anyone can adopt. Let's break it down. First, let's talk strategy. The single most important piece of advice is to just start. Seriously, time is your greatest asset, so even tiny, consistent investments can grow into something huge. Next, always build that safety net by diversifying. And finally, never stop learning. The more you understand, the less investing feels like a gamble, and the more it feels like you're just making smart, informed choices. Now, strategy is only half the picture. Your mindset is just as critical. Number 1, be patient. This is a get-rich-slowly kind of game. True wealth is built over decades, not days. Number 2, you have to learn to manage your emotions. Fear and greed are the two biggest enemies of any investor. And finally, you have to take action. All the books and videos in the world mean absolutely nothing until you take that first step. And let's end on this final thought from our source, because it just sums everything up perfectly. The journey from curious to confident isn't about some secret trick to get rich quick. It's about building a habit. It's about consistent action, informed decisions, and a whole lot of patience. So the real question is, what's one small action you can take today to get your own journey started?